Yeah, this is the JS joint.
Air it out. I had to clear it out, clear it out. I feel like Superman and tear it down. Comp as a quarterback and send him out. I feel that air it out, air it out. I had to clear it out, clear it out. I feel like Superman and tear it down. Comp as a quarterback and send him out. Take off. I'm on a rocket, a space dog. Bought a new car from Elon, wanna race. I've been asking how long is it gonna take. I've been cracking the car, had to break the safe. I've been righting my wrongs, had to change my ways. I was stuck in one place, so I had to shake. They try holding me down, but I found my way. Roddy Rich and no bicycle love me. Right away, then my heart went on ice again. Find the balance, my patience been going thin. In the field every day till I reach the end. Popping up on your side like we out of bounds. Ain't no way that they think that it's stopping now. I've been waiting for my turn to come around. I've been waiting for my turn to come around. Air it out, air it out. I had to clear it out, clear it out. I feel like Superman and tear it down. Comp as a quarterback and send him out. I feel that air it out, air it out. I had to clear it out, clear it out. I feel like Superman and tear it down. Comp as a quarterback and send him out.
No matter what happens, I can never get that song out of my head when we start playing it. Welcome, everybody, to the Air It Out Podcast presented by Inside the Hashes. I am the Juan and only. I am Senor Juan Worrying, although no longer the Juan and only, as I got married 2 weeks ago, but we're not getting into that right now. This is not the marriage counseling podcast. This is a football podcast. And, of course, we'll start going the rounds, presenting first at our bottom, our man from the city of brotherly love, Mr. Christopher Thomas. Chris, say hi to the people. What's up, man?
Yo, what's going on, everybody? We are back, and I'm excited to be back with my homie Juan, and finally from the depths of Gillette, my boy Darius is back.
The depths of Gillette. Darius, are you even near Boston?
No, I'm nowhere near Boston. I've been there once, and beautiful stadium. The people out there they're passionate. That's all I'm going to say. They're very passionate.
Passionate replaces one other word that we will not touch on this podcast. But no, that will not be what we go into it. The fact of the matter is, this has been quite the eventful NFL season. We are now entering, I believe, week 10 of the NFL season. Correct me, guys, if I'm wrong, but it has been a season full of extreme highs and extreme lows. A lot of passionate
11.
fan bases. Say again?
11.
Thank you. I'm sorry, we're entering week 11, and it has been a very exciting, beautiful season. We've seen bad teams ascend into being some of the top of the echelon of the league. We have seen expected juggernauts fall to just no longer being contenders. It has been a whirlwind of the season, and I think the number one word that you can use to describe what this season is injury riddled. That's two words technically, but we're hyphenating. So that's where we're going. Injury riddled, specifically at the QB1 position. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you haven't been watching the NFL, honestly, then you must be living under a rock, because we've seen 6 starting quarterbacks all go down with near season-ending injuries or season-ending injuries in general. I'm talking Aaron Rodgers with an Achilles injury. I'm talking Anthony Richardson with a shoulder injury. I'm talking Joe Burrow with an elbow injury. The list can go on and on. So, gentlemen, does the NFL have a problem at quarterback? I'm talking specifically about the quality of quarterback play, since so many of the QB1s, the starters, have gone down with injury. Mr. Darius, seeing that your team used to have the GOATs QB1 of all time, I'll let you start with it.
I don't want to say necessarily it does. Obviously, injuries suck and they happen in the game, and you want to protect not only your quarterback, because you're paying your quarterback 50% of your salary, right? Like, quarterbacks are making up that much of their team's cap. So you want to make sure you're protecting your quarterback at all costs. Now, if you look at some of these injuries, some of these players, their play style can be different. Anthony Richards, right? His play style, I think when he comes back for his injury, he's going to have to adjust to his play style because of the shoulder injury. You cannot be a quarterback trying to be a running back. And if you're going to do that, you're going to learn you got to learn how to slide, right? So we look at the injuries. Obviously, like I said, they suck. And not just at the quarterback position, but just around the league. There's been a lot of injuries, right? Nick Chubb with his injury. Kendrick Bourne and New England Patriots with his injury. Like, these are good players who are getting hurt. And these guys are actually, some of these guys are playing for a contract extension, and they're trying to, increase their value, like Nick Chubb with the running back market and how that is. But as far as the quarterbacks, we look at Joe Burrow. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the video, but how they didn't put it on the injury report that he was injured, and that's coming from, obviously, we don't know where that's coming from. If Joe Burrow's having that conversation, hey, keep me off, I want to play, whatever the case may be. But it's unfortunate that these guys are going out there and getting hurt. But I hate to say it, it's a part of the game, right? Like, it's a part of the game. It comes with the territory. When you play football, you're putting your body on the line each and every single Sunday, Thursday. Now we got Black Friday football, and we're going to get Saturday football. So you're putting your body on the line, and that's what comes with the game. So I wish a speedy recovery for every last one of these guys. Joe Burrow, Deshaun Watson, the list goes on and on. But like I said, we've seen this happen before. Each and every season, a top player goes down with an injury, or we see top players go down with an injury. And the biggest response is how they come back next season. It's just from a mental standpoint, especially when you get injured and you're on the shelf for a long period of time.
I'll go down the list real quick for season injuries. Like I said, Aaron Rodgers with an Achilles, Deshaun Watson, shoulder surgery on his throwing arm, Joe Burrow with an elbow injury, Kirk Cousins, torn Achilles, Anthony Richardson, shoulder, Daniel Jones, torn ACL. QB1s all over the league, both New York teams especially losing their QB1s for the season to season-ending injuries, although we don't know about Aaron Rodgers. Chris, your team had experienced something like that, and their backup quarterback, who we all know is the great Nick Foles, led them to a Super Bowl win against Darius's New England Patriots that one year. I just had to throw a dig in here real quick. So I think you are more than qualified to talk about what the quality of the backup has to be to lead a team, not to the minimum, the postseason. And some of the more available QB options right now that you can bring in, we have the Browns talking to Joe Flacco, possibly trying to bring him in, maybe looking into Cameron Newton, kick the tires on Cam Newton, Colin Kaepernick, maybe RG3 if you want to pull him out of the booth, Ryan, Matty Ice, shout out to Avery if he wants to do that. Chris, what do you think teams have to do now in terms of trying to make up the production that those quarterbacks brought?
Okay. When the Eagles won the Super Bowl back in 2017, I think it kind of put the league on notice on two things. One, the quality and the importance of prioritizing an offensive line, and two, the importance of having a quality backup quarterback. Obviously, we were able to do that. Doug Peterson was able to, incorporate Nick Foles, incorporate the same RPO style that Chip Kelly helped them win the Super Bowl. And I think because of that, you've seen the salaries that backup quarterbacks are now making. We saw how much money Chase Daniels has made throughout his entire career and never being an actual viable starting quarterback, just being a really good backup. But as unfortunate as all these injuries that you're really seeing, let's also give a shout out to also some quality quarterback play. Like, Kyler Murray tore his ACL. He was able to come back, the first week of a torn ACL, Leo comeback drive against the Atlanta Falcons. Sorry, Avery. But also I think the backup quarterback gives opportunities to re-showcase that, I just haven't gotten the opportunity to really showcase that I can really play in this league. The biggest story last year you saw was Geno Smith. Geno Smith finally got an opportunity to show that he could be a starting viable quarterback after the Russell Wilson trade. It got them to a playoff berth, it got them to a Pro Bowl, and it got Geno Smith a new contract. And I think this year's Geno Smith is former Cardinals quarterback, now Vikings quarterback Josh Dobbs. Josh Dobbs has definitely proven that the guy literally just got into the building like midweek, didn't play any quality rep snaps with the first teams whatsoever. But now these guys are on back-to-back win streaks. They're now host the number 7 playoff spot, and the Vikings are still well alive in the playoff picture, even with the massive injury to Kirk Cousins, which is like a morale killer, considering how much Kirk Cousins means to that franchise. So, but unfortunately for every Josh Dobbs, you got a guy like a Tommy DeVito for the Giants, which he hasn't shown that he doesn't really belong in the NFL.
Syracuse.
Yeah. So, but it's unfortunate, but like Darius says, like injuries happen every single year to the quarterback position, not just that, but any position. but every single year it also brings a new opportunity for quarterbacks to showcase their ability to, hey, not only I could be a good backup quarterback, but I can also be a good starter as well.
Avery throwing out the camera. I mean, we've seen like QB injuries really affect team decisions, especially. Matthew Stafford went down for a little bit. He's back to playing this week, but we saw that the Rams brought in Carson Wentz because of that injury. So yeah, it's the QB2 position definitely is higher value. I'm sorry, dude. Darius, what do you want to?
No. Chris hit it on the nail, right? Like we look at Josh Dobbs, right? This is a guy who you see in the video. He didn't even know where the locker room was at, and then he comes in and he wins them a game against a really good against a really good Saints team, and they're on a win streak. So the backup quarterback, I feel like these last couple of years, we're seeing backup quarterbacks produce and perform, and they're getting those contracts that certain bigger star names are getting, right? Geno Smith, right? Like you said, backup quarterback goes to Seattle, changes scenery, and now Seattle is they could possibly win that division because of their quarterback play, right? So sometimes your quarterback, you don't have to go draft a number one quarterback in the draft. Sometimes that quarterback that you're looking for your franchise can literally be on your bench, being that guy talking to your starting quarterback. So, but it's a fun season seeing these guys go out there and just ball and play.
I think the old adage goes that a QB is only good when brought into the right situation. You know, that's why it's always so unpredictable when someone goes number one overall to a team that's, you know, has the number one overall pick for a reason. So, but, you know, looking at who the backup QBs are for the 6 teams that we listed, 6 teams, Aaron Rodgers is Zach Wilson. We've seen he's thrown, 5 touchdowns so far this season, and he's had more turnovers than touchdowns. Deshaun Watson is Dorian Rob. I forget the young kid's name, the rookie from UCLA. Dorian
Thompson. I know who you're talking about.
Dorian Thompson.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Let's call him Dorian for now. Joe Burrow is Jake Browning. Kirk Cousins is
Dorian Thompson Robinson.
Dorian Thompson Robinson. Thank you, Chris. Anthony Richardson is Gardner Minshew. Daniel Jones is Tommy DeVito. Before that, it was
Tyrod Taylor.
Tyrod Taylor. Yeah, thank you. So, like, you know, the quality of the backup goes up and down for where these teams go. And ultimately, what matters is, can these QBs carry your team to a postseason if your team was set up for the postseason? That's really up for debate. I don't know. I mean, Josh Dobbs is definitely someone I can see doing that. I don't know if Jake Browning can do that. Zach Wilson, can he hold it down long enough for if and when Aaron Rodgers gets back? Dorian Thompson Robinson, can he do that as a rookie with absolutely no knowledge of what he's getting into in a Kevin Stefanski-led offense? Can Tommy DeVito even keep it enough so that the Giants don't get the number one overall pick? It's all a toss-up at that point. But, you know, we're not – but ultimately, like I said, can these guys make it to the playoffs? And that's kind of what we have to jump into next, is the current playoff picture, if we could for a second. If I have it pulled up here right now in the AFC, the first seed, if the season was to end today, the first seed is the Kansas City Chiefs. The second is the Baltimore Ravens. The third is the Jacksonville Jaguars, then the Miami Dolphins, followed by the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Cleveland Browns, and the Houston Texans. And on the bubble, surprise, surprise, the Indianapolis Colts. So Gardner Minshew might be able to lead this team to a playoff bid after all. Then in the NFC side, Chris is Philadelphia.
Yo.
This is Philadelphia Eagles. Then I won't say I live in the city, but I will say it like this, my Detroit Lions. Then the San Francisco 49ers, followed by the New Orleans Saints. Then the Seattle Seahawks, the Dallas Cowboys in 6, and then finally on the verge, the Minnesota Vikings with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers nipping at the heel. So I'm going to start with Chris on this one. Is there any team here that I mentioned who is at risk of getting subbed out of this playoff hunt picture, and who do you think it is? Who do you think will replace them?
Honestly, I think the NFC is kind of set in stone. I think Philadelphia, pretty much, they control their own destiny. Dallas is going to be there. The 49ers, you know, Trent Williams and Deebo Samuel are now like back into the lineup. So, like, I don't see, you know, the 49ers, you know, missing a step anytime soon. So I think for the NFC side, it's pretty much going to essentially stay the same, especially now with the Vikings getting that rejuvenated Josh Dobbs to to lead them. The AFC is a little different. I think if anyone's probably going to lose, like I have all the respect in the world for Mike Tomlin, but that Steelers offense is just way too clunky for me to rely on them to actually win games. So if anybody is probably going to fall off, it's probably going to be them. And also, I'll give us also a slight nod to the Jacksonville Jaguars. They started off really hot, the 6-3, but they also have the 31st worst offensive line ranking in the NFL. And you literally saw that when they go away from the game plan, which is give the ball to Travis Etienne early and often, that entire team struggles. I don't know if it's, the play calling by their offensive coordinator, Press Taylor, or just, Trevor Lawrence just not having it, or it's the bad offensive line. But that performance that we saw this past Sunday against the San Francisco 49ers, granted it is against the 49ers, but it is a little bit worrying because you also see what CJ Stroud and DeMeco Ryans is doing down in Houston. And it's kind of similar to how the AFC South was won last year. Tennessee had a really significant lead, but Tennessee slid it down massively down the stretch, losing 7 straight games, and it opened the door for Jacksonville to not only get their playoff spot, but win a division. So you might kind of see the same thing with Houston and Jacksonville this year if Jacksonville's not careful.
I might be having some connection issues right now, so I'll try to make it as smooth as I can. Darius, what do you think? What do you think of the current playoff picture here?
Looking at the current playoff picture, I'm a fan of like the beginning of the season, but football is really played in November and December. This is where every game starts to really matter, like where you cannot take your foot off the gas, right? If you're a team that's in first place and you have the potential to get a first round bye, you cannot look at an opponent that may be sub 500 and be like, we cannot take these guys seriously. When you look at the AFC, right, you look at Kansas City, I think this is the year that Patrick Mahomes has to prove himself and get a playoff win on the road. I don't believe Kansas City is going to finish with the number 1 seed, just because I would like to see Kansas City go on the road, go in a hostile environment on the playoffs, and Patrick Mahomes really solidify himself as a top quarterback in the entire in his career. Right, that's one thing he's missing. He has not played on a playoff game on a road, and that's no knock to him. That just goes to show how good Kansas City has been since he's been under center. I would just like to see him do that. As far as the NFC, and I'm going to say this lightly, the Eagles cannot get comfortable. They cannot get comfortable because you have the Detroit Lions and you also have the San Francisco 49ers. Now, those teams aren't a big threat to them playing against them, but the Eagles cannot take it. They cannot come out this bye week and they cannot take anything they do now. Like now it's time to play football. Now it's time for the Sean Desai and those guys to really start putting game plans together and finish the season off. Just finish the season off strong, because you're only a game ahead from Detroit. Like if Detroit wins out and they finish out, I believe, depending on like the conferences, Detroit would get the 1 seed. They still got to play San Fran. They still got to play Kansas City. So I don't want the Eagles cannot they're not comfortable. Like that number 1 seed, yes, they have the 8-1 record. That number 1 seed is good, but it's not solidified. Just like I feel like it's not solidified for the Kansas City Chiefs, because football is really played in these months, November and December and in January. It was nice in September, but now it's time to get everything together. You had a bye week, you had time to recuperate, and now the test is now. The test is really right now. So that's how I feel about the playoff picture. It's gonna be fun football. It's going to be really fun football these next couple of weeks. We're going to see teams really start to put things together and see who are pretenders and who are contenders.
I think one of the biggest pretenders I see here is going to be the Cleveland Browns, especially with the loss of Deshaun Watson. Yes, the defense is great, but this offense, even with Deshaun in the lineup, was a little stagnant in the sense of how it would perform. Injuries definitely played a role in it, and backups really do step up when they have to, but I don't know if what they're facing is enough that they can overcome. I think it's one team that can probably snipe them out of that wild card spot. It's a bit of a hot take for me. I'm going to go with the Las Vegas Raiders. that might be able to sneak it. They are 5-5. They're on a 2-game win streak and breaking out the victory cigar since they fired Josh McDaniels. This team is invigorated. It has heart. Yes, the last 2 teams that they played against were the New York Giants and the New York Jets. Not exactly teams that you would consider like contenders or anything like that, but there's a new attitude with the Las Vegas Raiders. And I feel like if they can right the ship, keep consistent, they're going up against Miami. I don't think they'll win that game, but like if they can keep consistent within the AFC race, if the Cleveland Browns start to falter, if the Colts kind of regress with things with the rest of the season going forward, I think they can snipe that position. And over on the NFC side, it's as simple as bait and switch. Take out the Saints, put in the Buccaneers. I have more faith in the Buccaneers as a team than I do the Saints. The schedule is a lot easier for the Saints than other teams, but I don't trust the Saints to take advantage of an easy schedule. I don't know if you can trust Derek Carr to take advantage of an easy schedule. This defense is, God bless them, they're trying their best to try to keep things steady while the offense still tries to figure itself out, especially with what's happening with Michael Thomas, regression of Chris Olave, Alvin Kamara still trying to find himself. Meanwhile, the Buccaneers, give credit to Baker Mayfield, man. The guy is rejuvenating his career down in Tampa. He got out of Cleveland and bounced around the league before finding a home in Tampa Bay, and is making the most of his opportunities. The defense in Tampa is looking like the Super Bowl contending defense. I'm not calling the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to go to the Super Bowl, but I definitely think they have a shot of winning the NFC South, which is at its current stage a putrid division. And honestly, I can't imagine a better scenario seeing Baker Mayfield just tearing the playoffs apart. And I've always been a Baker Mayfield supporter. Call me out if you say otherwise, but that's just don't you dare! Oh my God! You know what? That take may be hot, but these takes might be even hotter as we go into our game picks. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to see which of these who are we picking to win among our esteemed panel of judges. And Darius, I'll give you the floor first. What are your picks, my friend?
All right, so Browns, Steelers, divisional game. We know how those games are. I'm going to take the Steelers. I know their offense isn't clicking. They're getting outgained each and every game. But Mike Tomlin, the job he's doing in Pittsburgh is truly amazing. I got the Pittsburgh Steelers. Texans, Cardinals. That boy CJ Stroud. Oh my gosh, man! I'm so happy he's putting on. Everybody around Houston is playing for D'Amico. So I'm gonna take the Texans, Titans, Jags. I think the Jags get back on a winning streak. Raiders, Dolphins. Come on, Tyreek Hill. Literally, no one can really shut him down. Nobody can stop him. I'm taking the Dolphins. Cowboys, Panthers. Dak Prescott is playing pretty well. I'm gonna take the Cowboys. Bears, Lions, another divisional game. I believe Justin Fields is return. He's scheduled to return this week, but I still don't think it's enough. I'm taking the Lions. Chargers, Packers. Justin Herbert versus Jordan Love. What quarterback do you trust the most? I'm going to take the Chargers. I just think they have so much offensive firepower. They just got to find a way to really just finish games or close out games when they have leads. I think that's the biggest issue that they've fallen into. Commanders, Giants. This is a terrible divisional game, but I'm gonna take the Commanders. Sam Howell, the job he's doing, Eric Bieniemy, what he's doing in DC right now with Sam Howell, how he's leading the league in passing yards is truly, truly remarkable. I think he has to get some consideration for head coaching gig. Buccaneers, 49ers, Baker Mayfield versus that 49ers defense who just got Chase Young, and he's made a difference from that front four. I'm taking the 49ers. Jets, Bills. Do the Jets do it again? Absolutely. I'm taking the Jets, man. I think Josh Allen has proven that he is not who we thought he was, and the window for the Buffalo Bills to win a Super Bowl, I think, officially closed. Seahawks, Rams, I'm taking Geno. Vikings, Broncos. This is a tough game, and I think this is going to be a very underrated game. Broncos are a little bit on the win streak. They're finally finding their identity. I don't think Justin Jefferson's coming back this game, but he's on track to come back, if not coming back this game. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to take the Broncos and then the Chiefs and the Eagles, the game of the week. My hot take in this game, too, I'm going to take the Chiefs, but I think it's going to be a lot closer. I think it's going to be an offensive firepower game. I think both quarterbacks throw for over 300 yards. Both teams score over 30 points. And it just comes down to who do you trust with the ball, just like in the Super Bowl. Who do you trust with the ball in the last second? And I'm just going to take Patrick Mahomes because he's proven that he can lead his team to a victory when he has the ball with 2 minutes left.
All right, Darius, you got time for one hot take.
That was my hot take. But the hot take was the Eagles Chiefs. I think both quarterbacks throw for over 300 yards. Both teams put up over 30 points.
All right.
Not really a hot take, but you know.
At least it's not hashtag 350. Am I right, guys? and then Mr. Chris, Mr. Chris Thomas, what do you got from us, my friend?
Okay. Let's see. I got Cleveland over Pittsburgh. I'm going to be bold because I've attached myself on the Justin Fields wagon ever since his rookie year. So I'm going to go down with the ship. I'm going to go Chicago over Detroit. Little upset special. Chargers over the Packers. Miami over the Raiders. Washington over the Giants. Dallas over Carolina. I'm actually going to go Tennessee over Jacksonville. Houston over Arizona. San Fran over Tampa Bay. Honestly, I'm going to go Jets over the Bills too. Just something about that just makes me pick the Jets. Seattle over Los Angeles. Vikings over Denver. Josh Dobbs train cannot be stopped. And Eagles over Kansas City Monday night.
Any explainer and hot takes, my friend?
My hot take is this. If the Jets beat the Bills this Sunday, the Bills will miss the playoffs completely.
That's
not really a hot take. I can see that.
Chris just smacked the Bills in the face. Damn. All right. Well, all right. I'll be the first to admit, and for my hot take, I took the Bengals to beat the Ravens. Boy, was I wrong. So I'll take that L proudly. Don't you dare! I know you had the Bengals. You had the Ravens, Avery. Don't even look at me. Going down the list, I'm gonna take this. Avery's just on one today. I took the Steelers. I'm taking the Steelers over the Browns. I'll say that one for my explainer. I'll take the Chargers over the Packers. I will take the Dolphins over the Raiders, the Commanders over the Giants, the Cowboys over the Panthers, the Titans over the Jaguars. I will take I'm taking Houston over Arizona. San Francisco over Tampa Bay, despite what I just said about Baker Mayfield. The Seahawks. You know what? No, I'll take the Rams. No, wait. Yeah, I'll take the Rams over the Seahawks. And then I'll take the Broncos over the Vikings. The Chiefs over the Eagles. No, you know what? I'll reverse it. The Eagles over the Chiefs. I do not trust Kansas City right now. And then for my I'll make it a clean sweep. The Jets taking the Bills. And then for my explainer, since I live in this city, gosh darn it, Detroit's going to be rocking and popping this week. It's Thanksgiving week, and you know what that means in Detroit. Football is popping in this city. It's going to be popping when the Chicago Bears come to town. This is a team that, despite getting Justin Fields back, still wasn't even that good. I love Justin Fields. I've been a huge advocate of Justin Fields since he got into the league. But the fact of the matter is Matt Eberflus is failing him as a head coach. The weapons outside of DJ Moore, not that great. Their starting running back's been injured for 8 weeks? Khalil Herbert still hasn't made an appearance. The offensive line is in tatters, and the defense is in absolute shambles. This is an opportunity for the Detroit Lions to really establish themselves into the upper echelon of the NFC. All right, you need to at least put 40 points on this Chicago Bears team to show that you belong in the same conversation as the San Francisco 49ers and the Philadelphia Eagles. In fact, that'll be my hot take. Jared Goff will blow up with 4 passing touchdowns. 2 to Amon-Ra St. Brown. 1 to one to Reynolds. I forget his first name because there's 2 Reynolds on the Lions team.
Josh
then-
Reynolds.
And to Josh Reynolds, and then a 4th one to Jahmyr Gibbs off the screen pass. And Aiden Hutchinson will have 4 sacks against Justin Fields. I'm counting it. 4 and 4. 4 touchdowns, 4 sacks. I'm counting it. And someone tell me otherwise. Somebody tell me otherwise about
Time
that.
to wrap it up.
Yeah, we're wrapping it up now. So that concludes today's episode of the Air It Out Podcast presented by Inside the Hashes. Guys, remember you can follow us across all social media pages, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, or check out our website, InsideTheHashes.com. You can also follow everything that we do from football, from gaming in the football realm to podcasts about college football, even the pros. We got everything football available for you to consume. I'm Juan Guarin. That was Christopher Thomas. That was Darius Riddick, Mr. Avery Collins in the back. We'll see you next week. And in honor of Avery in the back over there, Matt Ryan, you're doing a great job as a broadcaster, my friend. But the fact that it matters, if you just held on to the ball just a little bit long enough, maybe you wouldn't have fumbled so much in your career, just like you fumbled the bag against the New England Patriots in that Super Bowl run. The fact that it matters is, my friend, you took a sack when you didn't have to. You were in field goal range after a great catch by Julio Jones.
Free my brother Darren. We miss you.
Right, Julio Jones, and you messed it up. How could you do this, man?
Hey, Desmond Ritter or Taylor Heineke.
You're the reason that Tom Brady's responsible